bonjour. Ani, tanse. Bonjour, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Okay, good. My name's Negon Sinclair, and I'm with this wonderful group of artists today. Today you're going to see a wonderful performance, something that you maybe have never seen before, but something that will resonate in you, hopefully, today. Today's performance is called Tapwe Keesakeetawak Aski, or How They Love the Land. It's a song cycle. It's a performance combining many things. And it's conceived by a wonderful sopranist and lyricist, Klassen, and Jerry Semchyshyn, who's a composer. And it's the purpose of sharing our cultural teachings and stories from right here in Manitowoc, the original name of this place, the original Cree name, which means Manito, or spirit, or mystery, and Wabo, or water. So you're going to see that movement, you're going to see that beauty of that spirit and that power that comes into this place. It's going to combine many things, but it's going to talk about us. It's going to talk about who we are as Indigenous peoples of this land. And it's also going to talk about our traditions and our relationships to this place, this land. It's going to combine many things, these techniques, the instrumentation of our traditions, and the chant, the drum, and some fiddling. This will also, this afternoon, we'll hear a reading of the legend Goose Dance, which inspired the lyrics to number 5, Hunger Dance, a contemporary dance solo performed by Arlo Riva and sharing by Dave McLeod. So it's going to be a great morning. We're going to see a lot of great stuff. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Larry Strawn and musicians Chris Kaler, Victoria Sparks, Victoria Greenco, and Ashley Klassen, and hope you enjoy today's performance. I'll see you in a minute. Nanabush. Who's heard of Nanabush? Okay, good. It goes by many names. Wenaboju, Nanaboju. In Cree tradition, sometimes called Wesekachuk. Now, Wenaboju is always moving. Nanabush is always moving. Nanabush is always changing. Nanabush has many powers. It's our first being. It's our first collector. It's our first teacher. As Anishinaabe and Cree people, we look to these beings, this one being who created all of us, to teach us about our experiences on this earth, because Nanabush has the ability to change, to shift, to move, to create the very life that we see before us, and to teach us, to continually always teach us. Nanabush was created by a collaboration between earth and humanity, and is always giving us these gifts. And that is the message of Nanabush. Nanabush is always giving gifts. I'm going to give you a gift that Nanabush gave to us, and that is told by Ashley Klassen, who's a storyteller, and will tell us a little bit about this story. This story is called Goose Dance. And some of you may know this story, but this story also is about you. This story is also about this, and it's also about this place as well. So I want you to think about what you can see as I tell this story. So one brisk autumn afternoon, Nanabush was setting up camp along the shore of one of his favorite lakes. As he always does and walks along, he constructed a wigwam using long, skinny branches covered with buffalo hide and built a small fire. He was very tired after his efforts, and as he always is, Nanabush is hungry. Nanabush doesn't like to do a lot of work, so he looks out onto the water and looks for something close by, and he notices a group of small ducks playing as the sun started to set. Now, roast duck would make a perfect meal, wouldn't it? His tummy gurgled, and he devised a plan to fool and entice the young ducks. He would invite the ducks to join him in a dance. "My handsome friends," he called, waving his drum in the air, "come to shore and join me in a dance, and I shall teach you all that you will impress all your friends and your family." And interested, the ducks came to join Nanabush by the fire. "To do the dance properly," he started, "you must close your eyes, wobble back and forth, and stick your neck out. The ducks practiced. Yes, yeah, that is good, but you have to close your eyes to do that right. And the ducks nodded. Nanabush picked up his drum and began to sing, "Way-a, hey-a, way-a, hey-a." And before long, the excitement had attracted the attention of some other birds that joined in. Patiently, Nanabush added some more wood to his fire. His stomach soon felt like it was eating itself. It got so hungry. So Nanabush kept singing till the noise from the dancing ducks overpowered his song. Suddenly, with a quick grasp, Nanabush began to wring the ducks' necks, one at a time, then stashed them into the hot, fiery coals immediately. Until one bird, the loon, who had cautiously joined the dance later on, opened one eye to catch Nanabush's trickery. With a loud squawk, the loon alarmed the others, and they began to fly off. And just before the loon managed to escape, Nanabush reached out his leg and kicked him in the back, and that's why the loon has a flat back. So Nanabush was left with 6 ducks roasting in the fire, and it was enough to make him happy of the effort that he took. He made sure they were tucked into the embers of the fire, leaving only their legs sticking out. All the day's work and the singing and dancing had worn him out, and as usual, Nanabush got very tired. And a short nap by the fire while these geese roast is a great idea, he thought. And in his dreams, he could smell the smoky tenderness of duck wisping from the fire. He smiled softly, thinking to himself, this fresh meat would soon be so good. However, while Nanabush was sleeping, some young boys who had been watching nearby followed the noise and smell of roasting duck and watched. They looked upon the readily cooking ducks and they ravenously feasted, but quietly, leaving only the legs stuffed back into the ashes of the fire the way they were. The boys ran off laughing at the trick they had played on Nanabush. When Nanabush awoke, he eagerly reached out for the first duck, having only to discover that there was nothing left but the feet and the bones. And jumping up in a fury, he tripped over a rock, stubbing his toe, and accidentally brushing his back against the flames of the fire, scolding himself. Ah! Hopping around on one foot, he lost his balance and fell down a steep rock, scraping his back against the ledge. His burnt skin stuck to the rock, and since then, brown lichen has always grown on the rocks in Canada. He relieved his back, now badly bleeding, with some willow stems, staining them red, and this is the origin of the red willow, which is used in traditional medicine and to stop bleeding. Nanabush collected some of the lichen and red willow bark and angrily threw it into the fire, and to his surprise, it gave off the most beautiful smell, which gave him an idea. And so from a bowl of clay, baking it in the fire, he attached a hollow reed to the bowl and created the first pipe. He packed some mixture of lichen and red willow bark, calling it Kistenichikaywin, into the pipe, and lit it with a coal from the fire. And easing back, Nanabush enjoyed his first pipeful, which brought him so much pleasure and comfort. He soon forgot the pain of his back, his hunger, and even his anger. So, what you're seeing today is a profound instance of gift giving. It's a way of seeing things, hearing things, combining them together. And these things are always about our life in this place. These things are always about the ways in which we shared things as a people. And they are constantly, much like Waynaboju or Nanabush, these things are always shifting, they're always moving, and they're always remaking itself. So gifts that we might have received hundreds of years ago are the gifts that are different now. If you go up north now, if you go to someone's house, you might be a cup of tea now, it might be time, it might be a story. But what those things that you see are the instances of what we call our teachings, those sharing things. And they're often also called the ways in which we think about our laws. And they're often called the 7 grandfather laws. And anyone know what those are? Those grandfather laws which talk about our respects. Well, in Canada here, there's this thing called the Constitution, which makes the basis for law. But in Anishinaabe and Cree tradition, we had laws too. Those laws were based on ideas like respect, wisdom, honor, love, truth. I'll make sure I get them all. Courage and humility. Finally, humility. So all of those things are what you brought and what the gifts that you brought to each other. And that's the form and that's the way in which societies operated. That's the way in which we created life. We created governments in this place. And so what we're doing now is we're sharing ourselves, sharing the laws of these same things. So within that dance and within that story and within that song that you heard a minute ago is those same ideas of respect and honesty and truth and courage and respect and finally love. As we share our music and our movement with you, I want you to think about what's inspired in you. What do you see? What are you bringing to this place? And how do you see this movement? How do you see us as a people changing and operating? So we invite you to listen with our eyes, with our ears, our mind, and our hearts as we create this piece together. The next piece that you're going to see is a dance solo. It's titled Feathers, and it's created as a result of a long and treasured working relationship between Arlo and choreographer Stephanie Ballard. The work's intended to show expression of Arlo's Indigenous, Aboriginal, and European roots, and all of those things. So I call her out again. For thousands of years in this very place, there was the creation of life and the very first beings that were created in this place. And those beings accepted and brought in another set of beings, who brought in another set of beings. And we now call those things like the sun, the stars, who welcomed things like the water, who then welcomed beings like the fish and the animals. And that each time a new being was added into creation, they were accepted and they were acknowledged and they were given gifts. Water, for example, gave fish a place to live, a place to eat, a place to exist and create their families. And that happened in a sequence for thousands, tens of thousands, many, many years, until finally the last beings of creation were set down. And that was Anishinaabe, or human beings. And that when those beings were created, they too were accepted. They were accepted by all of the beings of creation, but in particular those animals who said, we will take care of those human beings. And by taking care of those human beings, we will give them things to wear, we will give them food to eat, and we will give them places to live in our territory. And that didn't change at all for thousands of years. In those same things I talked about, governed by the grandfather laws that I told you about a minute ago, that created the basis for law and created the basis for how life operated in this place. And that didn't change in whatever time you want to pick on, 1492 or 15th century or 16th century. When settlers came to this territory, and they came in many different waves, when they came to this territory, they too were accepted. They were recognized as being a part of this place. And in 1671, there was a really beautiful meeting that happened at Sault Ste. Marie. And that for the very first time, Anishinaabe descendants that ended up in this territory in Manitoba met with those settlers in a great meeting called the Pageant of 1671. And this great pageant was a recognition of those people, now called the Wemetigojiwak, or we call the Wemetigojiwak, or the French. And it was an acceptance of them into this territory and the beginning of a long string of relationships. And do you know what was given to the French? Do you know what was the gift that was given to them? Well, it was treaties. It was a treaty that was given to them. And when Anishinaabe signed those treaties, they signed using their animal, their totems. Those animal beings that had recognized them thousands of years earlier, they had given those to the French, and they had explained to them on markings of treaty that you too are a part of this place. And that as you see, and much like what you're seeing today in the movement of animals and the ways in which this piece, this music, this song is talking about our relationship to the land and our relationship to the animals, we too are giving you that gift. We're giving you the gift of that movement and all of those teachings that those animals gave to us as human beings. We are presenting those to you. And that they are now yours, much in the ways in which people have always shared gifts in this place. The gift is about what you use it. When you're up north and you visit with your cookum or your auntie, or maybe even here in Winnipeg, you take that gift, that tea, that time, that story, and you don't throw it down, or even that ugly sweater that you might get a week from now. You don't take that ugly sweater and you throw it, or maybe you hide it in a closet for a little bit, but what happens when she comes over? When your auntie comes over, you got to put it on, right? Because you love her, because you respect her, because of those laws that I told you about. Those are the things that operate and make our life in this family. So a gift is about how you use it. And the gifts that you're receiving today are now yours. They are now yours to carry. There is so much to be said about this beautiful presentation, this stuff that is constantly shifting and teaching us and bringing spirits like Nanabush into this area, into this place. These next three pieces, I think, are going to talk to you a lot about the land in this place, and talk to you a lot about the water that we can see us moving. And sometimes our water is very sick. And so our relationship today, due to different projects, different economic projects, our land and our water is very sick. And so I want you to think about the beauty that you're seeing forth here and how we can make that water and that land as beautiful as it once was. And I asked you to look at these three next beautiful pieces and think about what gifts you're going to be taking from them.
Magishah kita kenem, niinodagwazieen taabitah, kiinim noontan nootin. Kipaapitoon, mazaykamik, nindauisnoon moatizen, Mushkoday. Mushkoday wigi pimosen, mushkodayang. Kipaapitoon, Kiaan, Magishah, Kipaapitoon.
You must know. Manitoba Arts Council for their support in making this concert series a reality. This is our second of 3 performances. I would like to give big thanks to the musicians and collaborators on stage today, especially our Lariva, our dancer, who's so incredibly talented and privileged to work with them. Special thanks to our guest speaker and gifted orator, Kiaan Sinclair. We're very privileged that you were able to share with us today. And especially grateful for the most wonderful collaborator, Jerry Semchyshyn. I'd like to thank friend and fashion designer, Michelle Levesque, for sharing her photos from her artistic project, which is called The Beast of Suppression, and for her beautiful pieces that you see on stage here that she made, and for this design right here. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much. And I'd like to take this moment to thank the special individuals who inspired us with their stories, their teachings, and their language and knowledge, and who were there to advise and counsel me when I had questions. Some of you are here today. Thank you. I'm very proud of the rich Aboriginal culture alive here in Manitoba, and it has been a humbling and honorable experience to learn and be able to share this project with you today. And most of all, we would like to thank you, our audience, and Tapwewin for welcoming us and being such generous hosts. Thank you for coming, and we hope you have a wonderful night.